And good evening, and welcome to another one of my live readings of my ongoing fantasy series, Helkey. And tonight I will be reading Helkey 24, The Flight to Esjberg with a Nightmare in the Sky. And for tonight, I am going to have very little preamble, although I will say that we are returning to Sadie, Beatrice, and Mori, who are now on a train that is presently being hunted by a very dangerous devil by the name of Gibbons Crane. And Gibbons is a curse rider, one of Asmodeus's most deadly devils, and capable of venturing across the veil of hell through to Earth and fully affecting Earth in every kind of diabolical way. If you wish to chat or drop some comments for me, I will go ahead and answer any questions for you after this stream. But for now, I am going to be going ahead with this live reading. Again, this is episode 24, and we will be having accompaniment by my co-author here, Crow, who is a fantastic writer himself, although most of his words come out as brrr on the blank page. But Crow will be helping us out as we read this evening. So I'll just hello, Jermaine. Yeah, I'll be chatting with you in a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this thing, and um, we will get into chat afterwards. So Helkey 20 floor flight to Esjberg with a nightmare in the sky. And I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of the text here so I can see it. All right, now Mori watches the train slowly board, glances at their police escort, then squeezes Beatrice's arm, the contact as much for his own comfort as hers. Finely muscled angelic flesh warms his hand, sets it to tingling in ways a normal human touch might not, or so he imagines. Maybe it's just that he is still batshit crazy in love with her. At this point, he'll take even the imagined comfort or the halo effect or the real comfort caused by her angelic nature. Whatever the source, he sure as hell needed it now. Hunted. The word buzzes in his mind like an alarm. His skin tingles with primordial fear response. Mori feels the impulse to kill, to run like hell, or both. A curse rider. We knew it would probably come, but now gods, are we so fucked. Mages are a subset of humankind that had gone nearly extinct numerous times over the last millennia and a half. The cause, goddamn curse riders, devils armed and trained by Asmodeus himself to slay mages and take their powerful wisps. They were an innovation of the Dark Ages, a far more lethal scythe to shear through the ranks of his people than even the devils who came before. All devils lusted after mage souls. Much of hell was dedicated to the entrapment of mage wisps by whatever means necessary. But before the curse riders, devils had to use the normal lures, tempting or tricking the mage into hell, or by jumping any mage foolish enough to enter hell willingly on their own. Curse riders were a great advancement into wholesale carnage. Able to exploit Asmodeus's inroads to Earth to take form, they could now draw directly from these diabolical energies to hunt and to slay, taking mage wisps by the devil-preferred method that is violence and slaughter, a fear and a feat which wasn't possible before. At first, the losses were mammoth, only the most powerful mages able to resist the overwhelming power of a curse rider long enough to flee, and the most cunning survived. New methods were devised to keep hidden to stay safe. By modern times, mage numbers were again slowly rising, though never so plentiful as before the curse riders. I guess my fear's kinda instinctive, Mori thinks to himself. Makes sense after concocting such a boneheaded plan and following through with it. They'd sent their only daughter into hell, and to distract Asmodeus, they'd deliberately taken Ivan Volkov, the archdevil's chosen prophet on Earth. I suppose I hoped we'd avoid a curse rider, but that was stupid. Like kicking a hornet's nest and expecting the hornets not to swarm out and sting the fuck out of you. Now we're in a serious bind. A curse rider, and a very nasty one by the look of it, is breathing down our necks. He summoned up a posse of the worst devil sympathizers in Europe. It's an honest to goddamn witch hunt. The officer beside him tabs her radio, speaks a few words in German. His interpreter Curse gives him the words in English. Train's almost finished boarding. They're departing in 4 minutes. There's a gathering of extremists just north of town near the tracks, but police units are already breaking them up. Mori's too keyed up and knows way too much to feel relief. Instead, he moves on to the next worry. Across the table, Sadie is on the phone with Glinda. No, dear, it's too dangerous to meet us at the train station. No, it's also too dangerous to go to the restaurant. We'll need you to go to the docks. Now. Yes, yes. I'll be calling ahead for the water transport. Of course I have a contingency. Ivan reaches out, tries to grab the phone. Sparks erupt from his hand. He shakes it in pain. Tell her not to come, he growls. Sadie doesn't miss a beat. Of course your father's here, dear. I'm certain he'll be glad to see you. Yes, yes, the trouble is after him, too. Stay safe, dear, and remember, the docks. Take every precaution and have our friends help if need be. Lots of love and see you soon. Bye now, dear. Sadie puts the phone down, takes a deep breath, then lays a hand on the train car's interior wall. She closes her eyes, whispering, taking a moment to study herself. Mori can't hear what she's saying. He'd want to pray too, though, if he were the praying type. What Mori doesn't notice is the flash of divine curse energy running through Sadie's palm and into the train. Mori's nervously glancing at his watch. It's 12:03. They should be leaving soon. He pulls out his phone, thumbing through his text messages. He had Stefan follow the train in his Tesla just in case, but he's more than an hour behind them. By the time they reach Esjberg, if they reach Esjberg, that lag will stretch past 2 hours. A lot can happen in 2 fucking hours. Stefan will almost certainly be far too far away to help. He glances sidelong at Beatrice, notes she's keeping track of Ivan and the officers, all while monitoring their still active omniscientia. Good, she's on top of her game. Did I ever doubt? Mori drums on the table in front of him with his fingers, trying to bleed off the anxiety with pointless motion. Why aren't they moving yet? He glances over his shoulder at the officer a couple of rows away. She's on her phone. He leans across the table. Sadie, tell me about your contacts in Esjberg, he says in a low voice. You have someone who can meet us a bit past Midway, possibly near Tonder? Sadie blinks at him. removing her hand from the train's interior wall. I heard your little plan from earlier. It's probably a good one, but it'll take some time. She picks up her phone and holds up a finger, indicating he wait. Good. She's on it. Sadie's about as resourceful as they come. If she's already up on his jump train plan, then she's probably arranging a contact at a good jump off point. The train makes a whooshing sound as it departs. Fricking finally. Powerful electric motors humming. The 100% clean energy 5,000 ton Sleipnir launches from the platform. A half smile creeps onto his face. He'll never get used to the delicious acceleration electrics could pump out. Hamburg's urban region blurs by, and they are once again rocketing through open country. Hot, dry farms and woodlands replace the gray and white city buildings of Hamburg. The train seems to be moving faster this time. Good. Mori glances at the officer, wondering if its speed has something to do with the recent attack by goddamn berserkers. Probably. When they left the platform, their first train was crawling with law enforcement. Media's going to have a friggin' heyday with this stuff. Furzabank and the plane crash. They cross a road intersection. In the distance, Mori can see a police roadblock. Behind it is a cluster of motorcycles. Some of their riders lift one-finger salutes at the passing train. Beatrice's eyes swirl with magical energy as she engages omniscientia. More berserkers, she says, pointing the magical sensor at the bikers. He nods, not wanting to expend precious energy to see the spectacle more closely for himself. The train has already passed the intersection. There are about 14 riders. Cops are having a tough time with them. Mori gives a wry smirk. I bet. Ha, Beatrice gasps. What is it, babe? He can still see her eyes swirling. She must have picked up something new out there. It's a helicopter. You've got to see this. She grabs hold of his shoulder. Okay, he replies, blinking his eyes and tapping his energetic vessel to connect him with omniscientia. He's momentarily dizzy as his senses shift. He adjusts quickly, scanning his new, much wider field of vision. He notes the berserkers and police rapidly falling away behind them. Spinning the sensor north, he scans for Beatrice's helicopter. No such luck, but the hot northwestern sky is littered with massive thunderheads. A titanic, if far distant, white-gray line of overshooting tops. Its telltale anvil shape a white blur about 250 miles off. Gonna really get stormy this afternoon. And they're heading out into the North Sea. Frickin' great. Mori's keeps spinning the sensor, turning it eastward. Then he sees it. A black and red MD-902 Explorer that could best be described as a highly stylized bird spews black clouds of smoke behind and to the right. The helicopter is clearly shadowing them. To his sensitive mage sight, its abnormalities are obvious. Diabolical magic drips away and behind as warp energy flares in its engines. Even to a casual observer, its bulging glass cockpit eyes, landing struts sporting downward turning talons, the bat-like shape of tail fins, and red flames shooting from exhaust ports would seem out of place except at a derby race made for monster helicopters. Yep, definitely a freaking nightmare, he announces, shifting his senses back to the cabin. Beatrice shoots him a look that says, duh, but in a more refined way he doesn't quite articulate. Keep eyes on it, sweetheart. I'll see if our new friends can do something to delay it. Mori stands, walks over to the police officer, then crouches down. Ma'am, I think you might want to take a look at this. He glances at her nameplate. It's Officer Winkler. What is it? Over here, by the window. Mori guides her to an open seat with a window space on the train's right side. He lifts his finger, points at the helicopter. See that? I'm betting it's not authorized to fly so close to our train. The helicopter's about 1,000 feet up. It's slowly descending toward them. Scheisse! Winkler exclaims. That thing is ugly. Yeah, looks like some magical monster out of a fantasy movie, right? Ja, she replies, then tabs her radio. After a flurried conversation, she looks at Mori with upraised eyebrows. Good spot. It's not showing up on the radar. Her own words seem to puzzle her. What kind of helicopter looks like that, but doesn't show up on the radar? The nightmare kind, Mori thinks to himself, but doesn't reply. Instead, he just shrugs his shoulders and turns his hands up in a "you got me, police lady" gesture. Winkler blows a raspberry, sharing in his befuddlement. They're sending a chopper to intercept. Closest one's out of Kiel. Won't be here for another 15 to 20 minutes. And that's fast response. Central's gotta be freaked. Mori falls into cop speakeasy, his normal person background kicking in. He scratches his head, looking about, thinking that a police helicopter and a nightmare facing off on the clouds might not be the best thing. Hey, it's not such a good idea, he starts to say, and then trails off, not knowing how exactly to explain a supposed civilian helicopter going up against a nightmare beast possessed by a devil in the sky. But that probably wasn't going to happen. 15 to 20 minutes wasn't going to be fast enough anyway. Mori's mind races, trying to come up with another plan. They're all over the place with everything that's happened, Officer Winkler continues. That keeps happening. And to top it all off, there's a big gale front sweeping in from the North Sea. Thunderstorms, hurricane force winds. There's even a tornado watch. Don't say. Mori already saw the storm clouds. The forecast confirms it. As he talks, his tactical brain is kicking in. He's wondering how to get a clear shot at the nightmare copter. He glances back to his rifle briefcase. Yeah, might need that soon. Lately, weather's been wrecked as all hell, Mori continues. It was all part of the whole problem, wasn't it? Damn devils teaming up with corrupt and influential humans to do stuff like fuck up the weather for all the other humans. Today's hellified forecast included an actual devil invader flying in a goddamn helicopter from an unholy mashup of machine, demon, and diabolical magic. Mori thinks it all to himself. Ja, for the past decade at least, it's the hot air running into ocean water chilled by Greenland melt, Winkler replies. Now it's Mori's turn to blow a raspberry. Tell me about it, right? So Officer Winkler was an amateur climate buff. Well, it was certainly something worth his respect. Climate change is playing havoc with everything, he continues. She's nodding and formulating a reply. Mori can tell they touched on a subject of passionate interest for Winkler, who seemed to be, all in all, a rather decent human being. Mori's edging away to get back to his briefcase when suddenly all the freaking cell phones in their train car start ringing. Oh, fucking shit! Winkler looks up at him in surprise. Her phone is ringing too. Oh shit, did I say that out loud? Don't answer that. Gotta go. He's running off, grabbing his phone. A glance is all he needs to see the red tendrils of diabolical influence heavy with suggestive magic oozing off it. He taps the answer key, puts it on speaker, and holds it well away from his face as he jumps, then slides back to their seats. He's got magical protections up to deal with Devil's suggestive magic, but it never hurts to be careful. Looking for Ivan, a cigarette smoke voice rasps on the other end. Mori can hear 20 other phones saying the same thing throughout the train car. Not hard to miss, the voice continues. He's a little squirt of a Russian. Kinda looks like Vladimir Putin. I'd be obliged if you could hand me off to him. About 10 people stand up all at once, holding their phones out to Ivan. Mori shoves 4 of them away. Beatrice and Sadie are already on their feet, Sadie shouting, Confractus! Multiple times. The diabolical magic in 5 nearby phones unravels. Please, no, this is all a misunderstanding, Beatrice shouts, her voice laden with an already applied Sagaro curse. Confused passengers sit back down as the devil continues to spout garbage into their ears. Even as some seem to hear Beatrice succumb to her magic and sit down, more passengers further back in the car are standing, moving toward them, holding phones with diabolical magic tendrils flaring. "Aw, come on, Ivan. I know you're there, buddy. Pick up." The diabolical cowboy voice crackles through at least 30 phones, filling the train with its helter-skelter suggestive magic. One of the zombie-like crowd, a breathless teen with a confused look on his face, breaks through, then kneels to offer up his Cthulhu phone. Mori is struck by the absurdity of the gesture, but doesn't have time to think about it. He's too busy shoving off the mass of bedeviled humanity. Ivan hears the voice. He stands slowly, as if drawn up on marionette strings. His hand lifts toward the teen's phone. It begins to spark with Sadie's telephone blocking curse. Ivan grasps the phone. It catches fire, burning Ivan. Mori can smell the sweet scent of frying skin. Ivan is unfazed. The Pride Eater wound in his back is flaring with diabolical magic, taking control. Mori focuses omniscientia down through the train. He can see the possession stabbing through the Russian like a thorn dug too deep to be removed. Ivan picks up the phone. Tendrils quest toward him from the receiver only to be burned off like mist in morning sunlight by Sadie's curse. The phone sparks, catches flame, then melts in Ivan's hand. The voice on the other line is still audible and tinny. It warbles. Bad connection, the devil cowboy says before the audio cuts out. At last, Ivan seems to wake up. He screams, shakes the burning phone from his hand, then kneels to cradle his wounded digits. His eyebrows are upturned. He looks both with terror and with longing as another of the devil zombified, this one dressed as an office professional, offers up another unholy phone. The wound in Ivan's back pulses again, shooting a signal laden both with power and command. In Ivan's eyes, Mori can see the ecstasy of longing for power ignite in a red glow. Ivan's mouth works, his jaws clamping, unclamping. Slaver drools down from his mouth as he literally salivates for power. Ivan's linked to that magic, a freaking cell phone held before his face by a dupe thrall with a devil on the other end. Ivan's hand lifts, closes on the cell phone. Once more, Sadie's protective curse activates. This time, the damn curse writer fights back. The tendrils multiply and as one shoot in a cloud, rocketing toward Ivan's wound. Mori's hand closes on his briefcase, pushes the red button. The rifle blurs into form. With automatic, precise movements, he removes a yellow Confractus bullet, chambers the round, aims for the phone, shoots. The phone disintegrates in a flash. Tendrils immediately fade out. Ivan looks down at the phone in anguish, then back up at Mori in rage. The Russian hurls himself at Mori. Mori doesn't have time to fuck around. He smashes the stock of his weapon into Ivan's chest, slamming him back down into the seat. Ivan is momentarily stunned. This gives Mori the opportunity to spin and link a hand with Beatrice. They exchange a glance. Una, he shouts, joining his magic with Beatrice's. Shigaro! Beatrice smiles in grim approval. They speak together in concert, their voices amplified by the shotgun effect of Una. Sit down! The magic force blasts through the train car in a shockwave. Though just suggestion, they're both digging deep into their reserves. If Ivan is forcibly transformed here and now, then the whole mission to Denmark is almost certainly done for. No time to hold back. The raw outburst of cursed magic carrying Sagero knocks people off their feet, sends bags and snack containers flying. It cracks two windows. Everyone in the train except Beatrice, Sadie, and Mori sit down. Then, in the time it takes for Beatrice and Mori to draw breath again, they incant Confractus, sending a second wave of curse energy to drive the devil's magic out of the cell phones. At last, the train car is silent, free of the cajoling voice of the cowboy curse rider. Up front, there's a loud thump as something large lands on the train's roof. The sound of helicopter blades whooping coming closer and closer throughout the struggle is now directly overhead. It's right atop the train's electric engine. Beatrice and Mori exchange a horrified glance. Shit, Mori exclaims as he transitions back to omniscientia. Turning the sensor toward the train's front, Mori sees it. The goddamn nightmare helicopter has landed on the fricking roof. Beside it is the dark, whip-thin figure of the devil cowboy. A cigarette smolders in his mouth as he lays a hand on his nightmare machine, then whispers a few words, as a rider might to a horse. The helicopter form melts, forms a red-black pool of something toxic, then sinks down into the body of the train. Maury's stomach does a nosedive. The curse rider turns, looks over his shoulder at the sensor, and then the fucker actually waves. And that concludes my reading of Helkey 24, A Flight to Esjberg with a Nightmare in the Sky. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate those of you who did stop in to chat. Definitely yow, Jermaine. I appreciate the yow. This was a fun read. I think I might have gotten the German a little German accent a little mixed up. I've been doing too much like Scottish accents lately, so my brain is stuck in that. In any case, I will be reading again tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be doing Helkey 25, and I believe I'll have to check my schedule, but I believe I'm scheduled to do the reading tomorrow evening sometime, probably around 4:30 if memory serves. And Helkey 25 is Mobile Holy Ground, and we will continue our encounter with the terrible, diabolical curse rider Gibbons Crane as he tries to conduct a diabolical possession of this amazing bit of machinery, the Sleipnir solar train. So I will look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for joining me, and good night. I think I might stream a little bit of Warframe after this. I've been writing a lot. I just finished a 6,000 word chapter, and then I'm gonna pivot to immediately write probably another 5 to 6,000 words for a Dungeons and Dragons adventure that I'm working on for you guys. So thank you all so much for joining me. See if I got this right. I love you all. I will see you soon. Take care.